in the previous matches. So the question is, how will Melissa dominate going forward? Like you said, a lot of the frontline heroes have a very hard time getting to her with that go away. And then we see Damien, a solid pick over there for the Grok. Probably expecting a possible, maybe even an Akai roam, but with that Grok kind of eliminating that being an option for Vendetta. And I think that's just a solid pick right now. Now, the question is, XP lane. There's a lot available again. You have the Dairoth, you have the Esmeralda, you have the Uranus. We did see an early pick on Esme in game 1, a little too costly, and we saw Promise dominate with the Dairoth since it was picked up early. There goes the Faramis. This walked and it was taken by Vendetta. Looks like the Simpsons didn't even want it. These are the interesting things we see inside of these drafts for these players that are in the upper echelon, seeing them allow the Faramis to walk, allowing a team to get Faramis and Valentina, and then able to win with the Atlas on your side. So the question is that the right answer? Will the Simpsons be able to win against the Cult Altar? Is it enough with the wild charge from Damien?
I mean, it's definitely not as much as a threat as it used to be, right? A lot of teams have been letting these two slip through. And my guess, in another month, maybe by the time M4 comes around, it's possible that they aren't even always on the chopping block in the first phase of bans. Second bans, though, coming in with the Esmeralda locked in, they get rid of the Dairoth. Playing it smart. They want to give Promise the advantage here. When Promise had the advantage in game 1, he could help carry the game. In game 2, he was kind of a rock holding the front line. He couldn't really do anything too major, and Galaxy still ended up being a bit more important on his Esmeralda. So hopefully Promise can do a little bit more for his team in this game than what we saw last time.
Now, I do love the Uranus ban comboed with that Dairoth, limiting the options available for Vendetta over there in the XP lane. A couple of answers that are still out there, like you said, a Thomas possibly, even a Benedetta to cut that lane, or maybe even a Fredrin from what we've seen in previous games. So the question is, what will they take for the XP lane? Lilia being picked up by Nate to have the early game potential to be able to give some magic damage off and use the black shoes when things get a little bit tricky. But Pogi picking up the Yuzong. I gotta ask, how do you feel about that, Trex?
I don't know. I mean, we saw it last night, right? And we saw what they did. What was it? It was Ackerman going up against Legacy, and we saw them pick up the Yuzong. And what they did to give them the advantage is they just bullied the EXP lane. They put Esmeralda so far behind that there was just nothing they could do, and it gave that Yuzong a huge advantage. Now, they also pick up the Ruby. Now, this I do like. That can help stop some of those dives from the Esmeralda. It can help stop some of these dives from Damien on the Grok and kind of alleviate pressure for Yuna to do his thing from around the backside, right?
Now, it's looking good. I like the Ruby, a little creative. I wouldn't have predicted that. But this is what you see from these teams. Now, the question is, with the go away from Cold World, then you have Ruby to be able to try and grab her out of it. The question, will she be able to pull that off? You do see Karina being locked in over there by the Simpsons as well to finalize the draft. Ladies and gentlemen, place your votes. These teams right now have both taken a win. This is game 3. Who will take the third match? You gotta place them now. It's neck and neck. Both of these fights have been bloodbaths, but pretty even, and then a couple of turnarounds near the end. So you never know. Grab your popcorn, get your drinks, place your vote, and let us know who you think will take game 3.
I mean, you mentioned I don't think the Ruby's exactly meant for the Melissa, right? Now I'm worried about Fallen now as well. Fallen's another dive hero, and all of them are going to be walking right into this Ruby, who's meant to just stop them in their tracks. Before we get too far into the analysis, this is game 3. Vendetta going up against the Simpsons. Who will take the lead as they both have won? Who will move on to the next round?
I do love what you were saying about the Ruby being able to have the CC and also the sustainability in the roam position, especially against Karina, a jungler that has a harder time against, the heavy CC leaning against her. So this will be a very good match from both sides. Vendetta versus the Simpsons. We saw the Simpsons take game one, a neck-and-neck fight all the way to the end, and then we see Vendetta come back with the turnaround for game two. Going into game three, both teams, phenomenal rotations. We see the early game tend to lean in the favor of the Simpsons, but Vendetta maintaining their focus and not allowing a snowball.
Galaxy already having a little bit of trouble here. Getting Brock kind of low. Promise going to face him out. The passive, though, does proc. This could be bad, though. Luckily, no Falling Star Moon. We're now seeing it even out. Nothing too major going to happen, but we're already seeing some trouble Promise may bring, especially when we get into level 4 now. Up in the top side. Possible engage. Theo tries to do something. Fallen chasing him down, but things still pretty slow. Once again, I think the main thing that Fallen and Damien and Promise are going to have to worry about when it comes to these big clashes is dancing around that viewer. Now, looking at the predictions, Wheezy, we got the Simpsons at 71%. Some fans are in the chat. I'm sure they're dropping those emojis for the Gorilla. Now, Fallen comes in, picks up that kill, giving first blood over to the side of the Simpsons.
A solid start, a very good gank over there from Fallen to have this slight advantage over Vendetta. Yeah, those votes were insane. Everybody is voting for the Simpsons right now in the favor of taking game 3, but we gotta look at Vendetta, look at their history in these matches, maintaining that pressure, also able to steal game 2. So it's anybody's game. But over on the bottom side,
Poggy, Nate goes down. Galaxy actually picks up that one, but Promise wants to find Galaxy. He uses the Black Dragon. Will be able to get away from this, so a nice escape maneuver, and he picks up the kill to add some gold under his belt and help him deal with Promise even more. The problem is he's out of this turtle fight now. He has no Black Dragon to help engage it. Fallen gonna start working on this Poggy. Does have those stacks ready to go. Gonna be able to get a big hit. Fallen picks up the turtle. Promise brought very low. Colt Alter comes out. They're trying to chase him down, but the rest of the team is there to back him off. The wall comes out, and you get nothing. The Simpsons take the turtle.
What a steal over there from Fallen for the turtle. These little objectives matter, especially on an even matchup between these two teams. You're looking at the Karina, you're looking at the Melissa. Melissa being that more mid to late game marksman, but having the advantage of a frontline composition, trying to rush in and using the go away. You see Galaxy over on the bottom lane running the Yuzong against Promise on the Esmeralda. In paper, it does lean in the favor of Esme for faster cuts, but Galaxy with the zonage and not allowing Esme to rotate.
Yeah, this is true. He's holding Galaxy in that EXP lane, which is very, very important, right? Because you don't want Galaxy to get involved in these big clashes. You don't want to see a Fallen Star Moon coming out of that mid bush out of nowhere, landing on 3 of your teammates. So that's Galaxy's job. Keep Promise occupied right now. Keep him down here. And occasionally Poggy's going to come down here, take a gold crab, and maybe even try for the gank to put Promise in his place. Now, blue buff, though, is getting stolen right now from the side of the Simpsons. Will they be able to take it? A little bit of an engage. Yes, fall. No. Poggy actually does secure it. Luckily, the fast fingers are there. Or did Poggy steal that?
No, he wasn't able to get it. Yeah, a crazy trade and a crazy steal, but you do see the Colt Alter being activated in the mid lane for a little bit of defense on that push. You see over on the bottom side, Galaxy maintaining the pressure. Not an easy thing to do on the Esmeralda, but doing it without a problem. You see Karina wrapping in on the backside for a potential gank. Turtle will be spawning in 10 seconds. They were able to secure the first one. Will they be able to take the second one for the side of the Simpsons?
Ooh, Poggy gets the knockout strike. Galaxy uses the Black Dragon, but I think this is more of just trying to get away. No. Does he want to re-engage? The rest of the team is here. He's not going to be able to try to take a fight there. Turtle is up now. Theo holding the front side, ready to keep the team at bay, give Poggy the space. Poggy wants to go back, take the red buff, and then re-engage in it. He wants to be ready. He knows he has time. Simpsons also taking this a little bit slow. Fallen finds maybe an opportunity. The wall comes down, creating space for his team to try to take over this turtle pit. Promise and Damien holding the front side, zoning away Vendetta, and Poggy has left. They don't want to deal with the turtle. He's moving on to his buffs. He knew it was a lost cause as Vendetta is falling slowly behind in this gold lead.
Like we said, with these turtle plays, especially in the early game, you have to have an answer for these trades. You don't go for the turtle. Well, what do you go for then? You have to take an objective to match up with it, to not allow the snowball. And we've seen that did not happen. Cold World over on the top side, able to secure the first tower in the gold lane, giving him the advantage over Yuna. This may be a problem. Looking really solid for the Simpsons. Looking into the items, you see the Windtalker picked up by the Melissa. We know she's more of that mid to late game marksman. Brody more of the early game advantage, but he does lose that lane. You do see on the bottom side of the zone is a clash in the mid lane.
Yeah, big clash at that, but it's more of just a getaway for Vendetta, forced to use that Cult Altar as an escape mechanism instead of an engage with Galaxy, wanting to engage himself, trying to lock onto Cold World, uses the Black Dragon, gets the Petrify, and picks up the kill. Cold World goes down. Simpsons forced to recover after this. Damien drops the wall. Theo gets him a little locked up. Doesn't have that I'm offended to make anything big happen, but the Simpsons are going to reroute, maybe try to make a play down on the bot side.
A huge play by Galaxy. That tower dive to take out the marksman. Cold World comboed with the Petrify and then able to escape was very insane. You see over on the bottom lane, he is already back in position for the fight for the zonage over on Promise. But speaking of zonage, a potential gank as Damien has a possible plan. You see Nate as well, the 3-stack, and Yuna taking the tower on the top side to answer on Cold World, able to get that tower.
Galaxy goes down. They take a tower up top, but it's traded for a tower down there. With him using that Black Dragon earlier, he didn't have it in his arsenal. There was no escape, and the Simpsons knew they had a chance to make a play. Now with minions crashing down to that boss side, Esmeralda should be able to pick it up. So towers still in the advantage of the Simpsons right now, but Vendetta are finding some opportunities. Turtle back on the map now. Are they going to try to contest this time instead of what they did last time? Theo coming in, gets an I'm offended. Bogey able to take the turtle. A nice Fallen Star Moon to give him enough time to do that. Galaxy now here, showing it's a fight, but Fallen has already taken Theo. Galaxy finds Cold World. No, Yuna picks up the kill, and now Galaxy is very deep, all alone. Galaxy goes down, and Nate grabs that one for himself. It's a 4v3, but the turtle does go to the side of Vendetta.
What a clash. These teams are fighting it out on these objectives, and we are loving it. Look at the goal difference right now, 22,000 to 20,000, with the Simpsons in the lead. Ice Queen Wand being picked up by Nate. Looking at the items, you do see Dominance Ice on Theo to counter the shields, to counter Esmeralda. It's just looking very solid. You see the Berserker Sphere being picked up by Melissa. Looking at Brody, the Blade of Hephaestus going for that Blade of Sphere, but the clash on the bottom side.
Big wild charge. Yuna instantly deleted. They tried to make the play on the boss side, and Simpsons counter now. Promise and Fallen up on the top side, doing some nice damage on the Galaxy. Fallen Star Moon comes down, does not have the Black Dragon, so there's no escape, and the mega kill goes over to Fallen. Another pick off and possibly another tower for the side of the Simpsons.
These towers are falling, but the defense is there by Vendetta. They are going to try and go in for a possible clash in the mid lane.
Theo trying to get away. He uses the Cult Altar once again as more of an escape mechanism. Another tower goes down, and the Simpsons are starting to steamroll. We went from 2,000 gold lead to a 4,000 gold lead. It's starting to spell trouble, but knowing Vendetta, they're good at coming back. They don't fall apart when their backs are against the wall, so we still need to watch those possible big plays. Keep our eyes on Galaxy for that Petrify play, that big knockup play, or the huge I'm offended play from Theo here.
Now, looking at the side of Vendetta, they do have the Faramis in their favor. For those who do know, those Blacklist International fans, you all know what the power of a Faramis can do. The question is, do we see it here from Vendetta? Can be the deciding factor in the clashes. Lord has spawned in. Looks like the Simpsons is going for it. A little bit of zonage, but the Black Dragon...
Ooh, Fallen still gets the Lord, though. He does come in, but now he's retreated. Abort mission. Theo's down. Simpsons come in. Huge wild charge, followed up by the falling Star Moon, and 3 members are wiped off the map. A double kill going over to Cold World with the Lord crashing in. This spells trouble for Vendetta.
911, what's your emergency? A huge snowball heading toward Vendetta's way. How will they respond? You do see the Lord pushing in on the top side. Not an enhanced Lord, though, but the towers are fallen. The objectives, prioritizing the turrets, not allowing Vendetta to have space to breathe. Do we see a potential early finish for match 3? Place your votes now. Let us know. Vendetta is on the defense. You see Lord pushing in. The clash from both sides.
Lord does come in. Shiku brought very low. Does have the Cult Altar, deciding not to use it just yet. Torn apart memories goes off. Damien goes down. Lord rerounding, does connect onto the base, but Galaxy looking for something on the backside. Go away comes out, and Galaxy goes down. Now the Lord also wiped off, but the Simpsons got what they came for. They've cracked the base. They've taken an inhibitor, and now they're going to eat up at the jungle of Vendetta.
Oh, what a play. Looking really solid for the Simpsons. But if we look at what's previously happened, we saw a turnaround from Vendetta when things weren't in their favor. And do we see that for this game? 4-10, 11 minutes in. This is a best out of 5. So both teams still having a little bit of wiggle room. But right now, looking very solid for the Simpsons. Cold World picking up the, more additional items. Looking at the items right now, just looking really solid. You've seen Grok over there. He does get a little bit of more of the physical defense, gonna have more of that heavy frontline presence. But looking at the marksmans, we looking at Vendetta, looking at Brody. Blade of Heptases, he's finally built that Blade of Despair for that physical damage output. You're looking at Esmeralda getting pretty solid as a frontline as well. Picking up that Oracle, having a little bit additional physical defense on her side. Lilia with the glowing wand, the Ice Queen wand, the burn, and also the slow to allow Karina to go in. The tankier Karina for these pickups, for these kills when Vendetta does get low. But the question is, will it work out that way in their favor?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy in Cold World in that last play. Something we got to point out. This time, you fool me once, you get me. But this time, Cold World had the go away ready to go, able to keep Galaxy at bay there. Galaxy tried to make the play happen, but just couldn't. So we got to keep our eyes on Cold World. The damage is starting to come in. The Melissa has reached a point where she can start to be a problem. Simpsons, they had a little bit of trouble. We've seen some back and forth, but now I think they're really at a scaling point. And the option, the winning condition for Vendetta, I think just comes down to one big play. Kind of similar to last game, they needed Theo to pull something off with those fatal links, and once again, I think we need to see something from Theo. They need to get either, a 2 or a 3-man I'm Offended ultimate onto them, and maybe that can save the game, but if they don't, the Simpsons are going to continue to snowball over them.
Speaking of snowball, you do see the Luminous Lord being picked up on the side of the Simpsons. Anti-Cure is being picked up by Damien. And looking at the jungles right now, you see Fallen 4-0 and 4 stacked against Pogi 0-0 and 1. A heavier presence from Fallen right now. We have to see Paquito get a little bit more online. Not the early start he really wanted in the jungle, leaning toward the favor of the Simpsons. But we are going past that 13-minute mark, starting to go toward that late game. And this is where we see the turnarounds, especially with the team that has the advantage, tending to get a little over aggressive. But the question is, at what cost? A very risky play from both sides, but the insurance and the towers leaning in the favor of the Simpsons right now is looking very solid and not allowing a lot of room for Vendetta to push out as Luminous Lord is crashing on the top lane.
Yeah, and they try to make the play on the boss side, but Shiki uses that real manipulation. Uses the Cult Altar. Cold World tries to do something. Pogi gets a shutdown. Cold World off the map. Lord, though, he's coming in still on the top side. Pogi forced to go back to base. Forced to try to heal up as Yuna melts down the Lord. Another inhibitor does get cracked, so they get something for the price of Cold World. Simpsons still finding something in what almost looked like a huge mess.
Oh, what a game, Trex. This is just insane from both sides. But the Simpsons just have more of the dominant presence going into Game 3. You do see the clash on the top lane.
Yeah, a little bit of a clash. The wall comes down, but nothing too major. Simpsons continue to buy time. What I'm worried about is I think the Simpsons, they kind of freeze these lanes, force Vendetta out of it. Damien now getting caught up. This is the wild charge, able to get away from that I'm Offended very well there. That was a close call for him, but he made the right choice. Minions continuing to crash down, and the Simpsons are going to have the advantage on this top side. They're going to have those super minions crashing in, and someone is going to be forced to constantly go up there to where his promise, he doesn't really have to if he doesn't want to. He can have a bit more of advantage in that macro. It's going to be about 7 seconds to another Lord. My guess is both teams take bit slow. Simpsons may have it as now 9,000 gold lead we see.
Yeah, you do see Esmeralda Promise having an easier time for that XP position. We kind of predicted that. It stacked up against the Yuzong on paper. Esmeralda wins, and that's what we're seeing here today. Didn't lose a single tower for that lane. And then the pressure that Esme's providing to maintain the minions in the top side to allow the opportunity for their team. And this is what we've seen for game 2 for Vendetta to take that win on a Lord play. Speaking of Lord, spawning in 19 seconds. The question is on the map, what is the Simpsons going to do to answer? How are they going to prepare for this against Vendetta? They have a lot of towers in their favor, but we've seen Vendetta in these 5v5 clashes have the prioritization and be able to take out those heroes who are important to these objectives.
Gauge there, RC damage, Galaxy trying to come into the backside. Galaxy looking for something here. Does not use the Petrify, but now he's a little too deep. Finally does land it, gets the knock-up onto Cold World, as well as the rest of the team, but Promise also goes into the back line. Cheeky all alone, taking too much damage. Cold World picks up the kill. Galaxy goes down as well. That's a 2 for 0, and the Simpsons want more. They're going to keep on heading in onto this, or move on to the Lord now. 2 members down. Cheeky will get back onto the map quickly because of that passive, but it's 30 seconds until Galaxy can show up. I don't think Vendetta is going to try to contest this. Better yet, they don't have the time.
You do see them collapsing over there in the mid lane. Do we see a possible clash from both sides? They have taken the Lord in the favor of the Simpsons. I love their positioning. They were able to secure 2 kills, but didn't push back. Didn't want to overcommit, not play too aggressive. They know they have the advantage in terms of players on the battlefield, and they do go back and secure that Lord. Looking very solid, but they are stacked against Vendetta, a team who has came back against them in match 2 when things were not in their favor. The question is, will they be able to prevail as Luminous Lord is pushing in with the full team of the Simpsons on the clash as well. This Vendetta on the defense. You do see Luminous Lord clashing in on the mid side. A possible fight right before our eyes for a finish.
Fallen Star Moon comes in on the bot side. Lord still coming. Galaxy gets a huge Petrify. Cult Altar comes out. Cold World goes down. And now Vendetta trying to answer back. Promise brought very, very low. Pokey gonna pick that up. Immortality pops, but it's not going to be enough. Promise trying to do something, gets the Fallen Star Moon, but still unable to escape with his life. 2 members of the Simpsons go down. Lord does get some chip damage onto the base, but still not enough. I think the Simpsons need to take it a little bit slower on these Lord pushes. They just put everything into one basket onto that bottom lane, and it struck back in bit them. I think they need to take these pushes at a bit more of a separation. Look how all of them just come into that bottom tower. They had waves all over. Why not split it up? Why not hit at a bit more of an angle? Because you really put yourself into that small hole in those towers. Now, back on the real game though, are seeing a little bit of action. Tower does go down in the mid side. Bogey able to pick that up. Promise still waiting to get back on the map here. Theo with a huge I'm offended. Damien in trouble, may go down. Immortality pops, Galaxy is there. Does not have the Petrify, so can't make a huge play just yet. But now Promise comes back with the Fallen Star Moon. Cult Altar comes out. Vendetta may need to get out of town. A lot of damage coming in. Shiki forced to use the Flicker, but Promise is on the trail. Cold World also here. Immortality comes up onto Theo. Fallen though, trying to find something. Theo goes down. Cold World gets that kill, and now the tides have turned once again as the Simpsons are moving back forward onto Vendetta. Are they going to try to finish this here with 2 members down and 40-second death counters? The Simpsons may try to play this aggressive. They have waves of minions coming down the mid and the bot side. Galaxy gets the Petrify with the knockup. Shiki gets the kill onto Damien, but that's okay because Immortality's there. Galaxy brought very low. Minions on the base. Galaxy goes down. Base is going to start getting attacked here. Nate and Fallen doing a bit of damage. Shiki goes down. That is too much, too little, too late. Can they finish this here? They have no minions. Fallen has to back off. He can't do this alone. Shiki gonna get the Maniac, possibly the Savage. What a turnaround there.
What a play. The dagger of the Simpsons. Too much for the shield of Vendetta to handle. This is just insane from both sides, but you do see the defensive posture leaning for Vendetta's favor. A very close call, but able to stay in the game. But the minions are still pushing in, forcing Paquito to get the clearance, not allowing him to go up and try and go for the Lord. A lot of members are not on the battlefield right now, leaving only Damien to defend for the Simpsons. They are going to go for this 20-minute mark. Lord, Damien trying to give a little bit of time as his team spawns in, but will it be enough?
I don't think he can do anything about this. He does throw out the wall. Whole world is coming. I don't think he even should try. He should try to just maybe get out of here. Does get the wild charge though. Cold World comes in. Galaxy gets the kill onto Damien. Can they get the steal onto the Slord? No, Pokey takes it and they pay with the life of Cold World. I don't really like that play from the Simpsons there. They have towers. They have some defense to deal with this Lord at the 20-minute mark. Gold now, even though Vendetta has taken the lead, we're in the 60,000 mark. It doesn't matter anymore. A gold lead doesn't make a huge difference. Everyone is stacked out on their items except maybe the tanks, but at this point it's going to come down to skill, come down to plays, see who can make the sets, who can make every second count here.
And that's what I love about both of these teams. They know how to prioritize those heroes that are going to be a problem past that 20-minute mark. The jungler trying to zone him out, trying to focus him. The marksmen with the potential to be able to do the damage needed from afar for the towers is definitely the focus right now. Not overextending, playing as a team. And that's what we are seeing from both sides. But you do see Vendetta on the heavy push on the bottom lane.
Base does crack. Promise comes in with that fallen Star Moon. Not quite able to connect onto anyone. Forced to go back and heal up. Lord still coming. Galaxy on the backside. Doing a bit of damage, but does go down. Immortality comes up. Shiki able to take out Damien, though. Fallen is next. They may be able to lock onto the base here, but they just don't have it. The Lord goes down, and now it's a counterattack. Vendetta on the run. Wait, no. Cold World goes down. They're still here. They're still showing up. Promise bites the bullet, and it's a full team wipe, and that is going to be GG's, ladies and gentlemen. Vendetta takes game 3.
What a match. We did look at a little bit of the votes from everybody on the stream, and everybody was in the favor for the Simpsons. And there we see it. Vendetta able to take match 3. Their defense is phenomenal. Very hard to deal with.